What's up, my ninjas? It's your main man Trina coming back at you. More shenanigans, tales of just the dumb shit I do, boy. You know what's up. So we had another campaign mission. We did it on Friday this time. So obviously I'm coming at you a little late again, but don't even worry about it because it's before the one. I ain't behind yet, so just that's something. Um, let's see. We added a new dude. Dude named Ben. Shout out Ben. Cool motherfucker right there. He's playing a bard, a human bard, which, that was my first character, so I can't really talk shit about that, man. My first dude was a human bard. So that's legit. He does exactly what I did. Plays strings and sings. You could tell, like, me and him have a lot in common, man. We both play guitar and shit and write songs and all of that. We're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna make myself badass. I'm gonna make my first character. That's that human bard, boy, just like in real life. Except now I have magic powers and shit. So that's tight. He's gonna be pretty baller. So he jumped in the game. We started off in that city where that Czar's from, which I'm not sure if I've told the story yet, but let me just throw it down real quick. The history of this motherfucking place is Czar's people are dwarves, right? And they attacked this city that these elves held and took control of the city. They had it for a while. I think they still have it. I can't really keep track of it. Plus, I don't really give a fuck, man. Just tell me what my mission is, how I'm gonna get my money, and that's cool. Anyway, so yeah, I think the elves don't have it right now. The dwarves have it, and but it's not Czar's dwarves. It's like a different clan. Who actually Czar has problems with. But Czar wasn't at this session. I don't know what happened to him. I guess he was booty hurt because he got his head smashed in, which I don't blame a motherfucker for, man. I would be upset if my character's head got smashed in. But I do have backup characters because your boy has tons of characters, just stacks on stacks of characters. Like, oh, somebody's gonna put me in a campaign. Oh, I'm gonna have like 5 characters ready to go. What do I want to play? Matter of fact, shout out to, I might link it up somewhere around. Let's see, where will I put it? Let's put it right there. Boom, shakalaka. Now it appears. Click on that link. Help me figure out what character I want to play in my homie's 5e campaign. Just check out that video. It's gonna be tight. Super tight. 5e is pretty clean. But let's get back to the story. Okay, we all meet back up in Czar's old town. Czar, for some reason, has disappeared. Perhaps we'll just say, he's finding out what's going down. But nevertheless, we got back together, and I told everybody, oh, I have a cool idea, and I have to fucking do it. We have to wait like 2 days here in town while I do my cool idea. And I had saved up some money, and I'm going to make well, I didn't get the farm, so I'm going to use my farm money on a handy haversack, because I have Wondrous Item Creation Beat. So I got a cool chance to describe my masterwork backpack that I created with my leatherwork skills. Actually, it was a tight moment. Let me get down on that. We ended up in a tavern. The tavern I went in to get a room, I noticed an old friend of mine, the dude who taught me the leatherwork, his son was there. And he turns out he's a Chelinum. That's a custom race that my homie has in his campaign. They're like giant Ninja Turtles, but they're not ninjas, they're just turtles. I call them Ninja Turtles because Ninja Turtles are kick-ass to me because fucking I'm a kid of the 80s. That's how we do it. Ninja Turtles, you already know, man. Donatello, what's up? Invent some shit just like Gnome. I'll be just making shit. Donatello, that's my favorite Ninja Turtle. If y'all didn't know, now you do. Get with it. I fight with a stick. Everybody else has like metal wood except for Michelangelo. He has sticks too. He has a string on his sticks though. I just got me a stick and I'll whoop all y'all asses. Donatello, baby. That's what's up. Use my brain. Donatello. Anyways, back on track. I saw my basically the dude who I learned leatherworking skills from. I saw his son there, and so I pranked him. I poured some beers on his head because I'm a gnome. That's what I do. And he was just like, "Oh, hey, what's up, Trina?" And so we started bullshitting. It turns out he had joined that gang of dudes who killed Czar, and like he's running with them, and he wanted me to help him do this job. And I was like, well, I don't really like those dudes. Actually, I fucking hate them very much, like with a deep passion in my heart. And if I run into this one dude, Tartar, or whatever the fuck his name is, like, I will fucking slay him if I can, if I get the chance. And he was like, yeah, that dude's kind of a dick, but, you know, whatever, I'm still going to work for these dudes and you should help me because I need your backup and you're my friend. And I'm like, well, shit, I'll talk to my dudes. We were on this other thing, but if they want to help, I'll totally get down. Because you're my friend, not like for this elf gang, but for you, my fucking turtle friend who, like, I grew up with. Like, we're homies for life. I'll back you up. And he was like, okay, whatever, that's straight. Meet me back in 2 days. I told him we'll meet him back in 2 days when I didn't tell him what I was doing, but I was going to make my shit first. And, I fucking forgot. When he told me he had joined this gang and quit leatherwork, and I was like, well, what the fuck, bro? Like, your dad taught you all the skills. I mean, he didn't even straight teach me. I just watched, and look what I did. I pulled out my backpack, and I described it like the front flat pouch part has like this awesome like leatherwork etched picture of like this dude sitting under this tree with like some clouds and like a pony grazing on the grass, and he's just chilling under the tree like smoking a giant pipe, and he's like blowing clouds. And on each side pouch, like one has like this kick-ass like Chinese dragon on it, and the other side has like this fucking eagle with his wings spread wide, just like, Rah! Looking all majestic and baller, like, oh, I'm going to rip your face off with my talons and my beak. And then the front pouch has, like, it's kind of a shout-out to my summoner, and, like, because the only knowledge that I actually have on my sheet is knowledge planes. Because I figured, well, where did I learn stuff? Like, I just kind of peeped to learn things. I didn't really get actual training on it. The one thing I did actually get training on from my Eidolon was knowledge planes. Like, he would tell me things about the other planes. So that's the only one I had. I had a bunch of different extraplanar creatures. I had like genies and Githyanki on there, you know, all the craziest shit I could think of from the monster manual that I knew was extraplanar. I'm like, oh, we got some angels over here. Like, everything is just weird creatures, and I had to try to explain that to them in the game without, you know, using player knowledge. It was pretty tough because I was like, I don't know, I fucking explained how I have this kick-ass backpack, and he was like, oh yeah, that's pretty baller. And so anyways, I'm going to enchant that backpack, be a handy haversack. So that's what we did. We chilled in town for a little while, got that task done. I made my roll, created the item, which was baller because I actually don't have secret chest. That's the spell required to make that motherfucker, which I'm not going to have any spell to make any item I need, really. And my spell pool is real limited. But that's okay. It's not really a big deal. I just like to add 5 to the roll, and it'll be straight, man. I'll make the rolls, or I won't, and I'll lose my money, and that'll be a jack to me. All right, so we got the bag made. We went and told my party was like, no, we're not working with these fucking elves, and I had told them out of game, like, you know, DM really wants us to run with these elves and do this thing. It's like he thinks it's really great for us and like fun, I guess for him. I don't like know whatever. So do this, and so I told them, like, Trina won't, because, well, he's not going to choose to do that because of, like, player shit. Not player shit, like, because, you know, he hates that one dude, he's not going to want to work with them. But if y'all's characters come at him and are like, oh, you know, this will be straight, we can make a lot of money if they tell him anything like that, or if they just try to convince him without money, money's an automatic win, though. They could get me to do it. I told them that out of game, and then when I went to them and I was like, well, do you guys want to do this thing for my friend? You know, I don't really like the gang, but my friend's cool, and he'll back us up if it comes down to it. And they were like, immediately, just no questions asked, no debate, just no, we don't want to do it. All of them, unanimous vote. So fucking whatever, we weren't doing that. I'm like, oh, that's straight, we ain't doing it. I'll tell him in 2 days. Made the thing, went and told him. He was like, oh, well, that's a shame, you know, you could have made a fuckload of money. I was like, well, I'm with these dudes, and I fucking hate your gang. So we left. We went to go explore. We might have mentioned the shit we found. I had scouted around, and so they had asked around town, and the bard apparently knew all about it because he was from the area. There's like a couple of old ruined forts and a lighthouse and like this hole in the cliff face that apparently these bandits live in. So we were like, let's go check out that hole, man. If it's bandits, then we can jack them and no one will give a fuck because they're bandits. So we headed that way. We ran into some farmsteads, like some farmers and their land and stuff, and I'm flying around above the party while they're like cruising on the ground because my dude can fly. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to the sky. I'm straight. Y'all can't fuck with me. And I noticed some shit. I flew up and I checked it out, and some kids had got kidnapped, or a kid had got kidnapped, and we looked for him, followed all the trails and clues we could, and it turned out to be a dead end. And they were like, we have to do something, we have to do something. And I had to just straight lay it out, like, do we have information to go on? No. Like, do we know what we can do to help the kid? No. Then let's fucking move on, because we can't do shit. Maybe there's a clue somewhere else that we'll find later, or otherwise, I mean, what are we going to do? We have nothing to go on. I made them leave. Well, we took a vote, but basically I put it down, like, this is not going to happen. We could stay here and look around all fucking day and still never find anything. So we left, and we went and asked, I think we went and asked another family, like the neighbors. We split up to ask the neighbors, and like, the neighbors we went to were like, no, we haven't heard shit, nothing strange over here. And the other neighbors were like this giant family of like 1 million kids, and kind of just, I guess, just normal people for having 1 million kids, but they seemed like kind of dickheads to us. And they counted their kids, and they were like, oh yeah, we are missing a kid. And one of the kids was like, yeah, she's been gone for a few days, I just noticed this morning. So we got like a clue, like a fucking hair, like a ribbon that she had. That was, dude, I'm sorry for my grammar. I'm working on swearing less on these videos, but the grammar thing, like, just get over it. Or I guess I'm sorry, just stop watching my videos. Probably that's why no one watches them. They saw that first one and they're like, oh, this guy, he just swears and can't even use proper English. I can, I just don't. Put it that way. If I'm writing it, it will be proper English. But speaking, I speak freely off the cuff, man. I have notes, look. It's like a fucking outline. It's not any kind of, you know, I couldn't read this to you, because if I did, the video would be 2 minutes long, and you wouldn't understand it, because it's like one word. That's how we do it. Alright, so those kids, blah, 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 still no clues. I'm like, well, we really do want to help. I agree. Like, I don't want kids just getting jacked. That's booty. You know, I basically got jacked, but if we have no information to go on, what the fuck are we going to do? Like, let's move along. So we went to go check out the hole, and, like, the dudes in the hole are this other race of people that my homie has in his campaign called Garuda. You may recognize the name. So basically they're like, you know, winged bird people. Probably figured that one out. They live in the hole on the cliff face, so they can just fly up there. But I can fly up there too. So I took the Bard up, and we flew up, and they were like all sick and vomiting. So we got the whole party up before they even did anything. It turns out a witch had cursed them for stealing a dagger from the witch. And so we were like, witches. That seems like a bitch that will steal a kid, because we didn't see any kids in the Garuda cave, and we're like, what are some bandits gonna do with a little dwarf kid? Like, they don't... That doesn't seem like some shit some Garudas are gonna... Like, they're gonna take your money and your gold and maybe your food. The fuck do they want with a kid, though? We live in a cave. That's another mouth to feed. Fuck that. A witch, on the other hand, she's like, oh, well, do a lot of shenanigans with the fucking young virgin kid. Like, oh, man, that's like blood and materials for my crazy witchcraft and all that. I'll plant a demon in her womb. Like, some shenanigans go down. Don't play with me, man. I'll make a crazy-ass DM campaign where it's just dark. That's terrible, right? Like, I'll fuck that shit up. Witch? So we're like, let's go get these witches. They gave us a map to where the witches were, so we rolled out. And then, boop, at this point, this is when our homie decided he wanted to do this spell that he had invented, the Yolvmas. After this point, this is when I have to start calling the motherfucker Yolvmas. He's like, come with me, dudes. And he takes us off into the woods, and we're like, oh, shit. Druid wants us to come off in the woods with him. And this is a dude who, at one point, was like, we'll eat the little kid. Like, I don't know, at some point he was trying to eat. No, wait, that happens later. Shit. Oh, fuck. He's great at playing it right. He takes us off in the woods, and he's, like, singing some weird song, and, like, he describes... It was a pretty baller description. It was badass. He, like, had the magic start happening, the trees are bending, and the ground is warping. And he had asked us, well, what item of wood do you have, or what thing that do you have has wood on it that's, like, important to you, that you would want to be cooler? What do you want to be, like, enhanced with beauty? So basically it wasn't like any kind of combat stats or anything like that. It was just a cool spell that he made up. So we're like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna get over on that. The other person in the campaign was like, she seemed disgruntled, like pissed off, like, we're trying to go to the witch cave. How dare you stop us going to this witch hut with your role play? And I'm like, well, should just give the man a second to try to just do this. It could be cool, and if it's booty, then I'll get pissed off like you, and we'll fucking go to the witch house. But just give it a shot. It could be badass, and it was pretty fucking badass, man. So like I chose Trina's long Gandalf style pipe, and I fucking I had it in my hand. I had taken off my hat immediately as soon as the presumably Fey style magic started happening. I'm like, oh crap, dude, this is serious business right here. I don't want to get transported to some crazy place. I don't know if that's a thing that no one would do, take off his hat, but I'm from Texas. Like, when you're in the fucking church, you take your fucking hat off. Or somebody's mom's going to whoop that ass. Take off your goddamn hat. And don't say goddamn. Because you're in the fucking church. But, so that happened. My pipe got, it turned into, this dragon, and it, turned golden. Not made out of gold, but it looked like gold. So, dude, my shit is super badass right now. And, I think Rick, who was the other person there, got their short bow, the wood of their short bow, intricately. It looks cool. I don't remember how they described it. I asked them, do you want to go first, to pick up your new awesome item and describe it? Because this dude had a minute to describe the cool spell, and so I'm like, oh well, I want to describe my kick-ass item. He had sort of described it, what it looked like for us. And I'm like, oh, I want to role play a second while I get off on my new item. I'm like, oh, look how kick-ass this is, and I'll pack a little bowl in my shit. And he had made it like a dragon, so the mouth is the bowl. It was really fucking cool. So anyways, that was over. We started going to the witch's house. I'm like, Yolvmas, you're my ninja now. You hooked me up. And they're like, what kind of plan do you want for the witch's house? And I'm like, well, detect magic. I'm finally going to use detect magic. So I start concentrating and just leaving detect magic on. I'm riding on Cam. We're on ground because I didn't want to. They were like, well, we'll approach. And I'm like, you're a bard. You're a rogue. You're like a spellcasting druid. Maybe we should send Cam up first because he's the only one who can actually take a fucking hit. And I felt like I might have been jacking the party on that, always taking the lead. But, I mean, it's witches, dude. If they attack, if they get the idea of let's just attack first, do you really want the rogue to get stunned down or, beat down first? That's the most damage we have. I can't sneak attack. Cam can do a fuckload of damage, but if he goes down, it's not a loss to the party because I can bring out other dudes, and I'm still there. If she goes down, or if Rick goes down, we gotta run. I'm gonna jump on Cam and fly the fuck off, and Yolvmas be damned. That's a jack to you, boy. You better turn into a hawk and fly away, quick. And Bard, I don't know what you gonna do. We just met you. You should have been in the party longer, where we might want to save you. I'm gone. Anyways, we go up to the witch's hut, and I knocked, and I was like, let's talk. And I was like, come out, let's talk. And they were like, come in. And I'm like, I'm not going into a witch's house. You come out here. And they were like, no. So at that point is when Trina did his normal thing, and I sliced that door down. Yep, sliced it down, started battle. I didn't mean to start battle. I meant to just get them to come out. But we're not going in there. You come out here, and they immediately shot us with magic and chopped Cam, because I was still on Trina at this point, or still on Cam. Trina's still on Cam, riding him, and they shoot Cam with Ray of Enfeeblement, I think, and his strength score is now booty, and all his damage and 2-hit is jacked up. And I'm like, crap, that's all he does. He just hits people in the face with this big weapon. If his strength is jacked, he's gonna miss, and your DD tank dude is just, because he's an Eidolon, his hit points are fucking low. That's the one weakness they have, is that they don't have a lot of hit points. It makes up for the fact that they're OP in every other way. So I jump off of him, and I'm thinking about releasing him, and eventually I get enfeebled and then stunned, paralyzed, and it lasts for 5 rounds, which I didn't remember exactly how that worked. I probably should have just pulled it up, but I asked, and he's like, no, that means you have to skip your next 5 turns. And I'm like, oh shit, because I could have released Cam and then brought out someone else and still been useful in combat. If I'm paralyzed and Cam has no strength, it might as well be dead. Except that I'll still get to be in the campaign. Fucking, I can't do shit, so... this is when I decided that I would fully let Cam just start speaking, because we'll try and Cam's going to have to step up. And I made him drop his weapon and be like, we surrender. We're not fighting, just don't fight us. And one of the witches was like, kill them! And the other witch was like, well, let's see what they have to say. And so she came out of the hut for some reason. Oh, to get the knife, because we had taken the knife from those Garuda. This is when Rick stepped up and he was like, well, you know, we came to parlay or whatever. We found this knife and we were wondering what was up. We were looking for some kids, and they were like, oh, kids, yes, we have some kids, but fuck you. You're not going to get them, but give us our knife. And we're like, well, that's straight. Here's your knife. And as soon as she came out, Bluka Chappelle, because everything had worn off by that time, apparently. And so we just laid into her, killed her before she got a chance to act. And then I had Cam just bum rush through the shanty and knock the shanty down. Just run through the door. And he ran up to her, and then I ran up to her. Rogue ran up to her, and needless to say, she got killed too. And this is when Yolvmas was like, oh, well, let's eat the witches. And so we all freaked out for like 15 minutes of the game. We're just like, bro, they're freaking out, and I'm like, come on, man. I took him outside of the destroyed hut shanty thing, and I'm like, dude, we don't eat stuff that talks. Which I mean, Trina wouldn't know, but a druid can talk to animals, so it's not a distinction that he can make, like, oh, well, the fucking squirrel talks too, and I make stew out of squirrels all the time. But that's what Trina told him, like, don't eat shit that talks. If it like has a voice, don't eat it. Well, I guess Yolvmas is gonna starve from now. He's like, oh, I can't eat any damn thing. I can talk to all the trees and the plants and all the creatures. Anyways, that boy's he's the can. I don't know if he eats elves, but he eats, I think he was playing it like he eats anything that is edible, because why would he waste it? That's how he's playing it. I don't know. So there was 2 dwarf kids in the hut. I didn't crush them, they were in cages. We freed them. I pressed the digitation to them because they were fucking filthy. And I wasn't going to roll with some disgusting, nasty butt-cheek dwarves. Like, I cleaned them up. They're babies, man. You can't just leave a baby filthy. That ain't right. I don't know if that's what Trina thinks, but damn, like, Archie can't handle that. You got to clean your stank-ass baby. Anyways, cleaned them up. We tried to take them back to the families, and they were like, let's go to the big family first. And they had this whole elaborate plan. I ain't trying to do that. They basically bought some of those people's kids and then tried to give them to the other family because they were really upset about having lost their only child. So we came back and gave them 2 kids, but we had 3 kids, and I'm like, well, why didn't we give them 3 kids? Don't we have 3 kids? And Yolvmas is like, I'm keeping one. Let me let that sink in for a second. This is Yolvmas, the dude who just said, let's eat them. Eat the witches. And the first thing that crosses my mind is, oh no, this motherfucker's going to start him a dwarf farm. He's going to eat dwarves, and this is his plan. I don't know his alignment, but at this point I'm thinking this dude's pretty fucking messed up. So we're like trying to convince him this is a terrible idea. We go back to town, and you know, we're like, we killed the witches, and we're all proud of ourselves. And we tell my Cheltenham friend whose name is Achu. We tell him, oh man, you still got that job you want us to? He's like, no, I did it. I made a fuck ton of money. I said, Jack, to you. We're like, oh, that's cool. We killed some witches. We got like no money, but it was fun, so whatever. And Yolvmas got a kid. And we were looking for schools for the kid. Like, we got to get this kid dropped off somewhere. And then he's like, let's take her to the wizard school. And I'm like, motherfucker, she's a farmer dwarf. Not exactly the #1 candidate for wizard school. Like, let's take her to a blacksmith. She can do work in a blacksmith. Let's take her to the gym cutter. Or better yet, let's just take her to the foster home and drop her ass off. Get the fuck up out of here if they have a foster home. Shit, it's a town of dwarves. They might take her. But he has plans I don't really know, and I'm really kind of worried and frightened by it. But whatever, dude. I mean, it's good role play, I guess. He'll be able to get his role play on with it, but I don't know what's gonna happen with that. That's weird. I think that's pretty much all. Sorry, I didn't really break it down as baller as I wanted. Oh, after we found out Atchu didn't have any more work for us, I took back to Wing and I picked the biggest temple in the city. I flew around above the city and I looked for the biggest temple, and I went over there and I asked them if they had any service that we could do for the temple. I told them I had a group of adventuring friends who were looking to do service to the temple. It turned out to be the temple of Yahweh. What up, Jew? Anyways. And I met a gnome. I picked the gnome. There was a gnome cleric, and I'm like, yeah, what's up? Gnome brother. And he was like, well, yeah, we have something. And then that's when Yolvmas was like, I actually don't have anything, so let's end right now. And then when you come back, you can find out what the fuck that boy had to say. So that's where we ended. Shrine is trying to get us some more work. Hopefully some fun adventures and shenanigans. Hopefully Yanis won't be too upset about us dropping those elves. He'll probably just have them come get us. That's what I'll do. Just, oh, these elves are going to come jack y'all. Y'all decided not to help? That's too bad. We're going to get that money that's on y'all's head. We're going to have to do something about that bounty soon, or we're going to be in big trouble. We can't keep having that hang over our head. But that's a discussion for another game, another day. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you hanging through if you made all the way through this 20, 25, 26, 27 minute video. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to check out the Help Me Pick My Character video. And peace.